ẹ má yẹ ká da Yorùbá rẹ̀ pé máa kòwé fún yín. Ọdún ò tó bẹ́ẹ̀ torí àwọn bàbá wà níbà ẹ̀ ọgbọ́dọ̀ pé òwe ibi tán gbé wà. Ṣùgbọ́n ẹ̀ ní bínú ó yẹ kí n fi òyìnbó díẹ̀ hà torí àwọn aláìgbédè kan wà níbà ẹ̀. Wọ́n wá láti Bayelsa, wọ́n wá láti Katsina, wọ́n wá títorí tiwọn ẹ yẹ kí n sọ Gẹ̀ẹ́sì díẹ̀. Mi ní jẹ́ kó tóbi jù ní wẹ́rẹ́wẹ́rẹ́ jù. After the Oni, after the Alaafin, I consider myself an anticlimax. I shouldn't really be standing here. However, it's a good opportunity to boast. Where does everything good begin? Let's always speak the truth, even though it might sound immodest. Wọ́n ní tàbárí àjànàkú nùgbọ́n ká má sọ parí nǹkan fìrí ká kó sọ pé erin lárí nǹkan lálẹ́ gbélẹ̀ lálẹ́ ibi ìlú rẹ̀ ti ń bẹ̀rẹ̀. What I said just now is, as usual, everything great begins from Ogun State. If you don't believe me, well, take Afrobeat, for instance. Afrobeat. Fella, he started here. It all began here. He might have sort of disseminated it in Lagos, in the United States, but Afrobeat began here. So why are we surprised that the first African Drum Festival begins in Ogun State? It's normal. We're used to it. We don't make song and dance about it. One thing which I need to complete a story which was begun by the Alaafin. It's a true story, I assure you. Rhythm is all. Very often, we don't understand the nuances, the capabilities of rhythm. And rhythm, of course, is enchanting. When the Olori, who was the serving high priestess of Shango, began her chant on the occasion described by the Alaafin. You see, I've taken a group of young students, pupils in fact, from Abeokuta Grammar School, a class, under a certain program called Super Pupils from anywhere and induct them into aspects of your own specialization. In this case, of course, culture, literature, etc. So I took them along with me. It was the height of the dry season. I took them, some of them, you know, were very badly indoctrinated. They believed that anything to do with tradition was paganism, was diabolical, was fetishism, negative, and I had to cure them of that kind of belief. When I was lecturing them, talking to them, for instance, and I mentioned the Yoruba deities, Shangonio, Ogunio, Oyanio, those things, no, those are for people, you know, satanic believers. So I said, all right, come with me. Let me introduce you to the origins of some of our culture. So I took them to the outing. And he, as usual, gave a massive cultural display to welcome us. And then the Olori began the incantations of Shango. This thing happened exactly as I'm describing it. It was a marvelous sunny day. Suddenly, from a long distance on the horizon, we saw a dark cloud. I mean, obviously, it began as just a small cloud. And then it came nearer, and the wind, it had been totally still. The wind began. And then it increased in speed. And Olo returned to Kabiesi. She said, shaking Dawaduro. And Kabiesi said, Wolumo. So she continued. And this cloud came nearer and nearer, and the wind became fiercer, more violent. I was very worried for my school pupils. I'd taken them from Abeokuta, their parents, and their schools. So I was looking at them all the time. The next thing I knew, the tent under which they were sheltering simply flew off. I became very worried for their safety. Again, Kabiesi and Olori exchanged looks. And Kabiesi again shrugged. That wind really became violent. To cut a long story short, the next thing I knew, because I rushed to the rescue of those children, the next thing I knew was the end bit of Kabiesi's Agbada disappearing into the Afin. So I herded the children to the bus and took after him. I got there, I said, Kabiesi, I drove them, I only Ojoko there. I said to him, I knew you were a boxer, but I didn't know you were also a sprinter. Thank you very much, Kabiesi.